With the price of housing consistently trending up, the government has been rolling out more affordable housing schemes to ensure more people have a roof over their heads. But are these schemes really working? Are people really getting their homes? We speak to Khazanah Research Institute Director Dr. Suraya Ismail to find out more. In the past few years, the government has launched a lot of different schemes like youth housing scheme and also My Deposit to aid the first-time home buyers. How effective do you think all these programs are?
I think when government launches all these new finance scheme for home buyers, one thing we must look at is the price of the houses to begin with. If the price is quite high, any financing scheme that you give will beat the purpose of making it affordable. Another thing I would like to say is that in the My Deposit scheme, it's meant for just new built houses but not the old stock. For me, if you really want to make the scheme better and for supply to be responsive to demand, the My Deposit scheme should also cover existing stock, existing housing.
Now, talking about affordable houses, we look at Prima, they say the largest affordable houses builder in the country. Do you think their targets is unrealistic?
So it's not just about pricing, it's also about the size. If it's too small and therefore it becomes affordable, that's not a decent home. Secondly, it's also about location. Now, it's very easy to say a ballpark figure, okay, 500,000 units in KL, but where? If people are not residing near to their workplace, it is detrimental to their cost of living. So how do we make sure Prima's target are actually focused to helping the people who really need it? Now, in our book, we did say that we must have a housing census, a housing national survey, whereby we can identify where are those plots that we should build houses for key workers. That is the crux of the matter.
3.2 billion altogether to build 203,000 houses altogether, but we don't see these figures coming online. And what are the challenges, what are problems facing by the local developers?
I think one of the big issues, and we try to explain that in our report, is the supply chain that developers are facing. Now, we have been in this fragmented national business system for the past 60 years. We have not modernized our construction activities in such a way that we can get some factor productivities in, and that savings is being passed to consumers in affordable housing prices. So even if we modernize, even if we make sure that the supply chain is consolidated, how do we ensure that cost savings is passed to consumers? That is very important. That is the role of government. Now, the role of the private sector in this instance is to make sure that you produce in a very efficient manner. You make sure that your products are affordable, and therefore the government can then, on top of that, give good financing scheme. But if to begin with, your products are not affordable, then I don't see how the government can help that much consumers.
So in your book, Making Housing Affordable, launched August 2015, you talked about IBS, right, Industrialized Building System, and you actually quoted an example by a Philippine developer called 8990 Holdings Inc. And they basically built houses, they built single-story houses in just 8 to 10 days.
Yes.
So how many days does it take for local developers in conventional way?
Whatever technology you have in your supply chain, if your social capital, if your human capital cannot execute it, you will never get that Philippines case study to its best in our own country, to its best performance. So the way in which they have managed to do this is they consolidate. The design, the construct is done in the same group. And there is like a cycle whereby the design people would tell the people who are doing construction, how best do you implement this IBS or these precast buildings. And the construction operatives are being trained. They are skilled workers, because it's very difficult to do IBS or precast model. It is very difficult. You must have highly skilled worker. which I think is a problem in Malaysia.
Now, 8990 actually launched this, they have this concept since 2004.
Yeah.
The big question is, in Malaysia, have we seen any local developers building this with this idea?
In this country, we have a very, honestly, very benign government that wants to help. But sometimes, these systems make the private sector quite lackadaisical. So you have all this technology, use it, make sure you invest in it too. Train your architects, train your engineers, train your construction operatives on site. You must make that one big value chain synergy. And then only you can have that 8 to 20 days of making a house.
Coming back a little bit on affordable housing project, what are the biggest challenges faced by affordable housing?
I would still say to make sure that the production of housing becomes more efficient, and therefore we will have good economies of scale and prices will go down. That's the most important thing. We are facing a housing crisis, and house prices, the cost of housing must go down. And how do we make sure cost of housing go down? We must invest in productivity gains.
Right.
This is a concerted effort. It will not be tomorrow. We are planting the seeds for maybe another 5-6 years.
A couple of weeks ago, MIER actually came out with a report. They say that housing loans in first quarter has been slowing down. And when I talked to Prima CEO Dato Mutalib Alias, he said the same thing. He said people have been getting really difficult getting housing loans from the banks. So do you see the same problem in the affordable housing sector or in the whole property sector?
I saw this statement by the Association of Banks of Malaysia in April this year. They say that 20.39% of or 93,000 applicants have been rejected. 456,000 applicants. Now, out of this 20%, out of the 93,000 rejection, 19% is for houses less than 500k. From 500 to 1 million was 20.71%. 1 million to 3 million is 25%, and over 3 million is 36%. So if you look at the statistics, it is those who are, these are not, well, for me, 500,000 to more than 3 million are not in the affordable category.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think this is the problem. I think what the banks are doing is good.
Khazanah Research certainly feels that the integrated building system could be the key to solving affordable housing problem. Whether it will bring houses to the market, time will tell.